Hey, what's up? Recently, you may have heard about Claudebot or Moltbot or OpenClaw. Basically, these are autonomous agents that run on your local machine. What we're going to do in the last video, we learned about how to create an agent that can save memory and learn on itself and use skills. What we're going to do is we're going to expose that agent, Bob, to Telegram. And then we're going to give it a skill that enables it to respond to Telegram messages. And we'll also modify it to receive Telegram messages. Let's go ahead and get started. If you remember, we had this agent Bob, and it had a memory system, and it's able to remember how to use skills by dynamically loading this bob.txt file. And what we want to do is connect Bob to Telegram. In Telegram, there's a tool called the Bot Father. We're going to use this tool to create a bot, and then we're going to connect it to our Bob agent in Scout. The first thing we want to do is do new bot. Yeah, let's choose a name, Bob, and let's choose a username, Bob Scout Bot. It has to end bot. Let's try something else. Bob Scout 63.bot. Cool. It gave us a token. We'll grab that in a minute. And now we want to just go back to Scout, and we want to go into workflows, and we're going to create a new workflow. And we're going to create just an input trigger message to start, and then we're going to message agent. And what we want to message the agent, we want to select Bob, and then we're going to send, and we want to send the message. We're going to use curly braces and select inputs message. So when the input comes in, it comes in with this message property, and we want to send that to Bob. And that property will be a JSON string. What we want to do now is go over to this menu and click on webhooks, and let's do add webhook, and we'll call this Telegram Bob. And we will select the input message field to receive, and we'll create our webhook. Now, what we have to do is we want to register this webhook with Telegram. Telegram knows when a message is typed to call this webhook. And I'm just trying to find my example code. Basically, if we exit out of here and go into a new chat with our Scout agent, we're going to say, we want to register a workflow webhook with Telegram. Here is the code snippet to do the register that you'll need to execute in a Deno sandbox. I'll paste the code here, and then I'm going to say, we'll go to workflows and untitled. Let's go ahead and change that. I forget. Bob Flow. Save and publish. And then we'll go to our webhook and we'll copy it. We'll go back and say webhook URL. And then we'll say Telegram token. Let's do Telegram bot token. And then we'll go into Telegram and we'll copy this token right here and paste that. And then now what that's going to do is Scout's going to use that code and those two values to register a webhook. Nice, it's successful. So let's test it out. What we'll do is go to Bob Scout 63 and hit start. And that's going to send a message to our webhook. So let's go back to Scout and go into our workflow and look at the logs. And let's see. Let's look at the logs. Cool. We can see that we got this message. And it's going to send it to the message agent, and the message agent probably doesn't know exactly what to do with it, other than it's going to start reading its memory and do some stuff. So what we want to do is tell it about a skill, and I went ahead and set up that skill in our drive called Telegram Response Skill version 5.md. I'm going to copy that. We'll just go through it. But basically, it's going to set up the skill to respond back to Telegram when it receives a message after processing. What we're going to do is tell Bob to use this skill, and you'll be able to read through it. But basically, it checks to make sure it has these tools, and it makes sure that the memory section includes a Telegram section for config, and puts all the config stuff in it. We'll tell it that the webhook is registered, and we'll give it all the settings. And then what it should do is have an example down here to use the skill to send a response back to Telegram in code. So let's go ahead and give that a try. We're going to go to Bob. We'll go agents, Bob, and we'll say use skill. I'll paste it. Telegram skill.md and save to memory. Or maybe it was use skill. Hang on, I think it was use skill and save. Okay, it's going. And while that's going, what we're going to do is also ask, what is your chat ID? Let's start with this. Okay. The Telegram token is, we go back to bot father and grab the token. And then the last thing I think we need to do is tell the agent when it receives JSON from Telegram that we want to parse it and grab the chat ID and grab the text. So once it's done here, we're going to go and say, let's just say, update your memory to know when you receive a request from Telegram, which would be a JSON document inside the message, that it will have a chat.id property and a message.text property, that you will want to record the chat ID in your memory and then process the text property as your prompt, get a response, and then use the Telegram skill to return your response. And we need to tell them that the webhook is registered, I think. Also, the webhook is registered, so you can flag that as true. Okay. While it's fixing that, let's see if we can talk to Bob. All right, now we'll go into Telegram and see if we can talk to Bob. Let's go. Hello? Now, Telegram can run on your phone, can run on your laptop, can run wherever. And this webhook should push that to Bob, and Bob should get it and respond. And here he is. Nice to meet you. I'm Bob, AI assistant with persistent memory. What are your capabilities? Cool. So it looks like we've hooked up Bob to Telegram and it's processing. Now, the last thing we want to do, which we'll do in another video, is to give it a heartbeat. So Bob will check in every 30 minutes or so and see if all of his tasks are done or if there's anything he needs to be thinking about. And then that will give us a kind of OpenClaw like experience on Scout.